Hello and welcome to UAT Time within the United Countries special by First Ukraine. You can find us on the frequencies available on our website firstua.com. I'm Sergey Velichanskiy.
And I am Olivier. UAT Time is dedicated to bring Ukraine and Europe closer to each other by introducing Ukraine to the rest of the world.
Euromaidan Press has been one of the most influential, independent and truthful resources of information.
Our guest today is Oleksandra Shandra, coordinator and editor of Euromaidan Press.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. I mean, and it wasn't just a word of, advertising or anything about Euromaidan Press, because truly, in the past 2 years, we've noticed that there are like Stop Fake, one of the real interesting resources, and Euromaidan Press. But before we get into more what is happening right now, I want to start with this. How does a lady, or back then it was a young girl who was into geography, meteorology, being an executive director of an ecological club, junior scientific staff, how did you become an editor and the coordinator of such a revolutionary, I would say, project as Euromaidan Press?
Well, when Euromaidan started taking place, I was involved in a research project, that's true. It was about history of the landscape of the Carpathian Mountains, and it was actually a pretty big project. But when the protest started happening, I realized that this was something very big, and I wanted to get involved in it. And since I knew English from my background of international research projects, I wanted to help the protest by telling about them to the world. Mm-hmm. So I joined a team of translators and journalists working at the headquarters of National Resistance. At the time, the initiative was called Euromaidan PR. And from that time on, I didn't leave. So that's why I'm here.
All right. That's interesting, because at that time, I did make a couple of phone calls as well to offer, but somehow just they didn't return the phone call and all that.
It was very busy times.
I know. But that's why, little later, the UAT time.
I have to underline that we received the creator, the founder of Stop Fake.
Yes.
Evgeny,
yeah. But Euromaidan Press now, would you please let us know maybe a little highlight, give us a highlight of what are the projects and directions that Euromaidan Press is dedicating its time and resources for?
Basically, we are working to give Ukraine a voice.
Okay.
We think that one of the major factors why Ukraine is not being treated as an independent subject in international politics is because it doesn't have its own voice, its own identity in the international scene. So we're working to get that voice heard among the international community. And for that, we're highlighting topics that we want to be heard. For instance, the detainment of political prisoners in Russian Federation, in Russian aggression against Ukraine, and also Ukrainian culture, which has been suppressed by Russia in different forms, from the Russian Empire to the USSR to Ukraine. Basically, we want to show the long path that Ukraine has taken towards freedom, and how it's breaking free of its totalitarian past right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, in this case, let's get down to some specific projects. We know that April 6th, that's when Netherlands have their referendum regarding Ukrainian association of Ukraine with Euronion. And there are different information is coming from that side. Some say that those people, the Dutch, they don't want that Ukraine associates with EU. But some bring us some little better information that people really just don't know anything what is happening. So what's happening? What you're involved in it in somehow communication process of Ukrainian position to the people of Netherlands, right?
Yes, we are. So basically, the referendum is not about Ukraine. It's about Euroscepticism. It's a growing tendency inside the European Union.
Right.
And this is basically the first time that the Dutch population got a chance to use this instrument to show that they are against increasing EU control of their lives. But so basically, yes, most of the Dutch do not know Ukraine very well, and it's like in everywhere else in the world, it's just a subject that's heavily influenced by Russian propaganda. So a group of Ukrainian organizations is working very hard to get the Ukrainian message across, and we also participate in the ways that we can.
Yeah.
So recently we were involved in creating infographics together with the Institute of World Policy that show what the referendum is at a glance and what the Netherlands will gain from it. I can show you, actually,
Let's
there's
try.
a picture,
Let's
yes?
try if we can.
Let's see if we can see it on the screen. So these infographics are being spread pretty actively right now. This shows what gains the Netherlands will have from the association agreement, and there are actually direct monetary gains because of the lifting of trade embargoes. And basically, we're also involved in a project together with Ukraine Today, taking interviews of Dutch businessmen in Ukraine. And the Dutch businessmen, of course, they also say what we are saying, that the Dutch don't know Ukraine very well. This is a very beneficial agreement for both countries. So we're involved in that.
All right.
Yes, and you know that in Netherlands, the problem is they will not vote against Ukraine. They will vote against the, what can I say, the EU now. We have in the European Union 25% of extreme right or extreme left party who are against more EU integration.
Sure.
And that's the problem in Netherlands.
Well, it's.
But I really like. I saw your website. I really like you did a small caricature. I don't know the term in English, and you can find businessman 0 and one leader, the Russian flag. And that's what that I think that was for UK referendum. But UK, Netherlands, all those countries now they have to face more and more extreme right party or nationalist party, and those nationalist party also are, can say, sponsors, have some sponsor, and the first sponsor is the Kremlin. And in the case of Netherlands, this is a case very interesting because for Putin propaganda, that's really that's a really great target, because on the one side he will support those this referendum against the EU, and if the referendum is the result will be no for Ukraine, for Putin that will be double targets. Against EU, against Ukraine.
Yeah, and I think this is the way propaganda actually works, because our people get the information that the Dutch people are against Ukraine, which is not necessarily true. You know, and on that side, the propaganda works that the people are scared about the, expanding of the EU. So, and Vasily Miroshenchenko, one of our guests,
he's very involved in that also.
Involved there. So, well, looks like we've got that front is covered with some good people, and they know what they do. So, good luck on that. Seriously,
thank
because I guess that's to me it's interesting when this is supposedly what the diplomacy, the official Ukrainian diplomacy needs to be doing, representing Ukraine, defending the cause.
That's why I believe in the Ukrainian people, because you say that's one subject that the Ukrainian diplomacy has to take care. But in Ukraine, I think the people is working more than sometimes the official institution.
Well, I would like to speak up in defense of Ukrainian diplomacy. They're active also very much in the ways that they can. But I do not think that the Dutch will be convinced by the voice of Ukrainian diplomacy. I think that is actually
Civil
society
Okay.
and independent media that can influence them more.
All right.
Because, I mean, just trusting governmental institutions of another country, it's not...
Yes, of course, but you are agree that the civil society and all the NGO in Ukraine are very efficient, and they are doing a large part of the job to show Ukraine to the rest of the world.
I think everybody
Yes,
is
everybody,
involved,
but
and
this
the
is an
MFA
increasing.
also.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Now, I want to switch to another project of yours, which in many ways is very controversial because people still don't understand why nothing serious is done regarding our famous Nadya Savchenko. Your project, Let My People Go. The thing is this, our society right now is very, divided, because some people say that the government and the diplomacy are not doing anything because they don't want Nadya to as strong as she is
To come back, yeah.
to come back, because she's gonna make a lot of changes.
Yeah.
You know. On another side, the civil society and the volunteers and a lot of movements that just come out of nowhere. And so tell us about this project.
Well, the Free Savchenko campaign started back in 2014, end of 2014, from a single hashtag, and it grew into a massive movement with politicians and journalists and civic and NGOs and human rights organizations joining in. But Nadya Savchenko is only one of many captured Ukrainians in Russia.
Okay.
And that is why Euromaidan SOS, a human rights NGO based in Kiev, started the Let My People Go campaign, which encompasses everybody, all the detained Ukrainians. And some of them are not as famous. Some of them are just simple citizens that become hostages of the situation. Well, the same as Nadya.
It's good that we know about them.
And yes, and we have to remember everybody.
Yeah.
Because...
How many?
How many? Right now there's 25, including Nadya Savchenko, but this list can grow. Well, this is the 25 that we know of right now, and not counting the many hostages detained in Donbass and not yet released.
So 25 are those that have been moved to the Russian territory?
They are either undergoing trial or already sentenced to years of prison, or
Sentsov.
like Sentsov and Afanasyev and Cherny. And also there's the case of the Crimean prisoners. They are detained on the territory of occupied Crimea. So the Let My People Go campaign aims to highlight these many cases, many violations of international law. And we're collaborating with Euromaidan SOS and hoping to launch a site soon that will document all the biographies and all the details, legal details of their cases.
And what are the charges against them?
Oh, the charges they're just fantastic. Well, for instance, with Oleksandra, the famous filmmaker, he is being charged of leading a terrorist organization, and for this he is charged with 20 years of prison, sentenced to 20 years of prison. Other cases are no less farcical. For instance, the case of Mykola Karpiuk and Stanislav Kulich. They're being charged with participating in the Chechen war, even though they have solid evidence that they were not even close there. But if you remember, there was this ridiculing of Arseny Yatsenyuk.
Yes.
Okay, there's an aspect that people forget. Under what pressure should a person have testified that their premier minister took part in the Chechen war together with them?
Yeah.
And from their testimonies, they have appealed to the European Court of Human Rights and being tortured. They were electrocuted. They were brutally beaten. And it's just horrible what they write about. And this has to be known to the world.
25.
25, yes. And unfortunately, you say that the diplomacy is doing little to release them, but what can they do? Can they send an army to break down the walls of the jail?
Sure.
In the case of Nadya Savchenko, I think every politician of the world has made a statement in her release, well, except the most overtly pro-Putin politicians.
Yes.
But basically, Putin does not respect international law. What do we do now?
That's the issue that really bothers me. You know, all these people, they're detained, and seems like no influence at this point. But another thing is, we have quite a few Russian soldiers that were imprisoned, you know, or caught on our territory, and. You know, a lot of people, just typical regular people, say, why wouldn't they, you know, exchange them for them? But it's not that easy.
It's not that easy. Well, first of all, there has to be an agreement with the Russian side to do this, and there was no agreement. Yeah. And second of all, Nadya Savchenko didn't want this because she says, while they are guilty of committing crimes on Ukrainian soil, she is not guilty. She was kidnapped. So she even ideologically did not want this exchange.
She's like,
she's one tough lady.
Jeanne the Dark.
Yes, I saw that in some article. Joan of Arc. Yeah. That's our heroine in France.
And also David and Goliath, they compared her.
Yeah.
She's David going against Goliath.
There you
Russian
go.
Colossus.
So. But you know, you have to understand the mentality of Putin. You know, he really. He doesn't take care about what you think about that, you know, because for him, he will win. He will win. Because in the strategy of Putin, you have one loser, one winner, and he will be the winner for him. Then he will not, he doesn't take care about the international law.
The other time on our show, we talked that sometimes while you're playing chess with him, suddenly you notice that he changes the game and he starts playing poker. Yeah. And you just
it's bluff.
Didn't follow. Yeah.
It's a bluff. Yeah. You know, like this is like Syria. Why now he want to leave Syria? Because he has not the strong economy. But everybody believes that Putin is strong, and in the West, this is the problem. In the West, we believe in the myth of Putin strong. This is a myth. Well, and this myth is useful for Putin, not for Europe and not for Ukraine.
It's a myth that is backed up by a billion-dollar media campaign.
Yeah.
That is very successful.
And if we are to return to the Let My People Go campaign, in the situation when there is no rule of international law, only in Russia, and Putin does not respect the law, only international pressure can give hope that the prisoners will be released. Only constant international pressure from partners and sanctions, no lessening of sanctions can influence the situation.
So what are your near future plans about Let My People Go?
Well, first of all, we will launch the site, and then we will connect with...
When?
When?
Few days?
Very soon. Very soon.
Is that going to be the same name of the website?
Yes, the name site will be called LetMyPeopleGo.org.ua, and it will be a central hub for everything Let My People Go. Right now, you can follow our social media pages and Facebook and Twitter. What was the question?
When you say
when?
Sooner.
Soon.
And what the next project with Let My People Go?
Org.ua?
Org.ua, yes. Well, we will have to think about it. We can't reveal our secrets yet.
Well, but I want to
start.
This would be the website. If you can get it closer, please. This would be... Anybody?
Thank you.
Yes, right there. So this would be the website. Just make it as a, remember it, and let's join that project because.
But you are also on Facebook. You are also on Twitter.
Yes, we already have social media pages, but site not yet ready.
Okay.
That's all right. It's gonna come.
It will be in English, Russian, and Ukrainian.
All right.
Great.
Now, network events of activists around the world. That's some of the. Your projects and actions and directions. That's what you do. What do you imply by network events of activists around the world?
Well, Right now, at the beginning, we tried to initiate them by contacting the activists and agreeing with them on a specific date to hold protests.
Okay.
And we had protests against Russian aggression and no mistrals for Putin. But right now, the activists are pretty active themselves.
Yes.
And what we do is we just organize, gather all the information in a central place. Let me show you a map of the, for instance, we have events taking part today. If you can get this closer, today Nadya's lawyers have
there you go.
announced a
Yes.
global day of support for Nadya Savchenko, and in this day people support Nadya on Twitter with the hashtag #FreeSavchenko and also by rallies around the world. So we just give them information support for their events and promote them. But I think the next step where we want to go is actually working with the activists to increase media coverage of the events, because actions can be done in many different ways. There can be only placards, and media will not be interested in that, but we're working to accumulate the different creative protests that will enhance the media coverage. So that's one of our next. Thank you very much.
We definitely want to join this. But we want to actually understand that it's not just about Savchenko, it's about 25 other people that have been illegally detained by the Russian occupants, and we don't want to be silenced on that.
That's why you have to support, and we support.
Well, we're very glad that Nadya has gotten so much, she's a famous political prisoner, because she is a symbol of all the 25.
Yeah.
And a campaign always needs a face. And we're very happy that we have this face, even though it's tragic how she is sentenced, and it's incredible.
But she's very courageous. I saw a lot
She's
of...
incredibly courageous, yes.
Strong woman. Very, very strong. And she will be a symbol. She's a symbol.
Well,
she's already become a symbol.
That's why, it seems like there is she is a threat to a lot of acting political figures here in Ukraine, because they don't want to change a lot. They want to continue the way it is, but they're afraid of any revolutionary thinking and any heroes that are, supported by the people.
Yes, and this is the case of
so, anyway, so with this, in these 2 years, Euromaidan Press, you said that you want to pretty much what was the main idea? You want to make sure that Ukraine is well presented in the media in the West, right? That's pretty much the...
Well, we can't really influence that, because journalists work independently. We can only be a source of accurate information about Ukraine and provide aspects that are not covered.
The problem, for example, in France or in Europe, yes, Ukraine is in war, but the problem in Europe is that now we have several wars in the world. We have several problems, and Ukraine is only one problem. For France, for example, you have the impact of the Paris attacks.
Yeah.
And that's a huge impact. And our president said that France is in war, engaged in a war against terrorism. And and Ukraine is only one news now. We have the Syria conflict, and we have this Paris attacks. It's huge impact.
And that's an issue, that each country has their own issues, has their own problems to solve, but we need to keep doing the stuff and provide the truthful resource of information for the people to come across. At least some of them, if they're not purposefully looking for information on Ukraine, but we need to provide as much truthful information as possible, so they can just come across it and see it.
One question, how many followers you have for Euromaidan? Maybe you have the number of in Twitter or in Facebook?
Well, on Twitter it's approaching, it's a little over 10,000. In Facebook it's approaching 52,000. And on the site, there are 2,000 subscribers that get emails when we publish articles. And so, yeah, that's...
All right. Well,
that's
if there is
base.
any way that we could be part of your project of providing the information, we would be more than happy to be
Thank you.
on the listing.
We can think about that.
And,
we are there.
Whenever you have this website up and running, come back and let's
thank you.
dedicate the whole program
to this website.
to this.
Yeah, totally agree.
Thank you very much for stopping by.
Thank you.
And it was United Country, UAT time by First Ukraine. Our guest was Oleksandra Shandra, coordinator and editor of Euromaidan Press.
Vedrine and Sergey Velichanskiy were working for you in the studio. Stay with us and we will show to you the real Ukraine.
Thank you for being with us. Have a good day and see you soon.